10 Things Your White Family Never Taught You About Racism, Part 6. Before I tell you number 6, I want to remind you that there's only so much information that I can provide for you in these short reels, in these short videos on social media. If you want to go more in depth, if you want to ask me questions and have them answered and go deeper into this work, you need to join my Anti-Racism Schools in Session Patreon community, or you can sign up for my 6-week online training called The White Liberals Guide to Dismantling the Racism Within, 12 Steps to Becoming a Safe Person for Black people. That's where the real work happens, off of social media, when you can engage with content that's longer than 2 or 3 minutes long. Okay, so make sure you invest in that today. Link is on my profile. Now let's get into number 6. Number 6 is the same way that you respond negatively to talks about anti-racism, to talks about racial equity or diversity, equity, and inclusion is the same way your parents, your grandparents, maybe even your great-grandparents responded to the civil rights movement and to Reconstruction. And I'm going to give you a clear example of that from this amazing book by Michelle Alexander called The New Jim Crow. It says, the rhetoric of law and order was first mobilized in the late 1950s as Southern governors and law enforcement officials attempted to generate and mobilize white opposition to the civil rights movement. In the years following Brown versus Board of Education, civil rights activists used direct action tactics in an effort to force reluctant Southern states to desegregate public facilities. Southern governors and law enforcement officials often characterized these tactics as criminal and argued that the rise of the civil rights movement was indicative of a breakdown of law and order. Fire departments regularly used powerful hoses to break up rallies supporting desegregation, and police forcefully cracked down on marches throughout the South, often working with the Ku Klux Klan and other racial terror groups to lynch, torture, and imprison Black people, especially Black activists. For more than a decade, from the mid-1950s until the late 1960s, conservatives systematically and strategically linked opposition to civil rights legislation to calls for law and order, arguing that Martin Luther King Jr.'s philosophy of civil disobedience was a leading cause of crime. Have you been hearing that term, law and order? We have to maintain law and order. We have to keep law and order. Have you been hearing that in recent years? Yeah, it's directly tied to racism, systemic racism, people who were against the civil rights movement. Okay, so you think this language is new, you think it's innovative, you think it's empowering, and at the end of the day, it's just racist. It's just the new 2020 something version of the racism from the past. That's why white people need to learn the facts about white history.